are discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the dialogue between the Lord Krishna and Arjuna, 8th chapter, and yesterday we were discussing about the departure time explained by Krishna to Arjuna. In that 24th sloka, Lord Krishna explained, Agnir Yotihi Aha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha. Fire, light, daytime, the bright fortnight, the 6 months of the northern path of the sun, and departing then, men who know Brahman go to Brahman. This we have discussed so elaborately, what is time, how astrology works, how ecology and all these facts and figures of the science, the olden science, that has very much effect on the arrival time and departure time and situations. Everything is as important as each other. And we have seen yesterday the bright half, how when the sun, the earth and the moon and all these nakshatras and all these devatas, they coincide in a luminous path. Then if one departs from the mortal body, then he is forced to go in a luminous path, and that will end in the absolute. This we have discussed. Similarly, the time of situation of birth of a person. So in this way, birth time and death time is most important. And before death, whatever thoughts come to your mind, that predominates on all other thoughts. In this way, this departure time is most important. Now today we shall see the black half, darkness, what happens there if in that path one goes after the death. What happens? Today we shall see the 25th sloka. Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandrama Samyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Attaining to the lunar light by smoke, night time, the dark fortnight also, the 6 months of the southern path of the sun, the yogi returns to this mortal world to take some baths, and again he will be in the cycle of birth and death. This is Pitriyana, or the path of darkness, or the path of ancestors, which leads to rebirth. Why? The ancestors, they are in a part of Swarga. So, they are also Devatas. How they return the person to earth again? Pitris, they are so attached to the progenies. Pitris means the ancestors. They always have the desire. They are the caretakers of their dynasty should grow so that they will have more good wishes and those rituals which reach them, they will be more happy. And in our tradition, in the tradition of sannyasis, sannyasis are known to be dead persons. When sannyasi is taken, some rituals are performed by pandits. In that, the person who is taking sannyas, he has to renounce his ancestors, he has to give forever pinda to his ancestors. No more I shall be responsible for you. Now I am renouncing you. And then he gives pindadan, does rituals for his own body also. He renounces the three worlds, all the belongings in the earth plane. So Bhu, Bhubaha, Swaha. All these three worlds are renounced by the sannyasi. He has to take oath in Ganga and in the yajna, giving witnesses, having witnesses of all the gods and yajna purusha, Ganga, everywhere. So no way he can come back again to this world. So he is considered to be a dead person. If a sannyasi gives up his body, no rituals are done. And this is how he is antiviral to the dynasty of the ancestors. If the sannyasi comes to the rituals of ancestors, these ancestors are afraid, they go away. Because this fellow has come to ruin our customs and traditions. He is not a worldly man. So They like worldly persons, those who grow in worldly sense, means produce more and keep up the traditions of the family so that it will go on. They are the helper of the supporter of the Creator. The creation should grow. Ekoham Bahusyama. So they are given better position in the heaven. They are the helpers. And though they remain there, yet they can have different births in different places also. Just as we keep the office copy, the main copy in our office file, and the different Xerox copies we give in different offices when needs arise. Similarly, the main copy is there in Pitrulok, and the Xerox copies, they go on enjoying their good and bad karmas. Yes?
So from logically and analytical point of view, so can they have this renunciation, this word which is backward, sacrifice as well?
Pardon?
Sacrifice?
Sacrifice, the last sacrifice. No more sacrifice is done.
Is renunciation?
Yes.
Highest sacrifice?
Highest. That is the limit of sacrifices. Thereafter, the sannyasis are not supposed to do any yajnas or any rituals. They are beyond rules and regulations. Ko vidhi, ko nishedha. There is no do's nor don'ts for the sannyasis. They are beyond all the rules and regulations. And they should follow all these strictly. A sannyasi, if he has some bank balance at the time of death, he will think of that. What happens to the renunciation?
Pinda doesn't mean realization.
No, Pinda means not realization. It is the last rituals.
Sannyasi is taken, okay.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean they will have a...
Viraja home is the last sacrifice. When one does Viraja home, then after that he has no need of doing anything. Even then, if he does, he is beyond rules. Nobody, no denial to him. He can do anything and everything. He may not do anything and everything.
His karma will not bind him.
He is not the doer. He is not the body. How can he do anything? He is beyond the mind and senses, body.
If he reaches that state, that only, then only.
That is supposed to be. But when I came to ashram, I took sannyas, I saw these sadhaks have bank balance. I was wonderstruck how they are keeping money in the bank, and now I have fixed deposits. Out of the interest, the hospital should run. But of course we could not fulfill the target. Yet a little interest is helping us to run the hospital. All these seva and love and this dhanam, charity, to share with others, serve, love, give, these are for the sadhaks. So Gurudev has given this path for the sadhaks. These are the great purifiers. And after that one should take sannyas. But Gurudev's motive was different. When you are bound with some rules and regulations, then you have to follow it. So he just gives sannyas to some people who are eligible, of course, inwardly Gurudev knows, but they may not prove themselves to be eligible in the beginning stage. I did not know what is sannyas, but I was given sannyas by chance, by circumstances. And I was very happy to be a sannyasi. I didn't know anything about it. When you have the your mridang on the neck, you have to learn it. This is the saying in Hindi, कंधे अगर पड़ गया मृदंग तो फिर बजाना अपने आप आता है. Automatically you have to learn everything because you are ought to do all these. So naturally one gets bound to all these. So he will be bound. When you have this robe, then you have to think 10 times before doing something wrong. I am a sannyasi. I am supposed to not do all these. But as per your situation and conditions, after taking sannyasi also one can do all these. There is no hard and fast rule. But logically or legally he is not fit for the world. He is beyond world. And our tradition is the householders should not allow the sannyasis into the house. And they should be worshipped, of course, but they should be given alms outside the house. They are not allowed to enter into householder's house because it will be impure. Sannyasi is a renunciate. So if the householder's house is influenced by renunciation, then what will happen to their family life? It will be ruined. That's how, out of fear, they don't allow the sannyasis inside. This was our custom, tradition. And they should not take anything from sannyasi for eating or enjoying. Nothing. Because they have no rules and regulations. They can eat anything, they can do anything. So, sannyasis are persons who have nothing. So how can you take something who has got nothing? Here I have seen in the village areas also they were so strict. They didn't take anything from sannyasis. neither tea nor food, anything in the ashram. If they are forced to take something, they will pay for it. They pay something, they give some donation, and then they are free of sins. This is our old custom. Now, of course, modern age. Google. Google will tell you everything.
Even Google got sannyasam. His name is Googlananda.
Googlananda Saraswati. So a sannyasin is supposed to go on wandering this ashram and all these social welfare works. They are not supposed for sannyasins. But now ashram and social welfare, helping others, this has been a tradition now, and some NGOs are forced to do some social work, or else they are rejected to be NGOs by the government. When you are collecting some public money, you should use it for social welfare. In this way, the modern age is different, but our old customs and traditions were so strict. Anyhow, the Pitris, they are afraid of the sannyasins. They always like their tradition should go on. And this is how they are in the higher planes. They are not in the hills. They enjoy there, but they have different views. They like to come to the cycle of birth and death. They like it. And this is how all these gods, after enjoying their full merits, they have to come down to the earth plane to take some birth and enter into the cycle of birth and death.
What merits they enjoy?
They are all those meritorious deeds done before coming to the heaven. Indra is supposed to do 100 yajnas, great sacrifices. That is, you see, Mahatyaga Yajna, where you have to sacrifice everything, all the wealth, not the 3 worlds. And thereby they acquire merits, and when 100 yajnas are over successfully, then they are qualified to be the king of gods. And because Bali was doing it to be the god of kings, it was not proper time, and it was a demon. So the Indra came to take surrender under the feet of Lord Vishnu. So he is the Supremo, and whosoever comes to his feet, he will have to support Artatrana. So he supported Indra. Indra gave also reason, now my period is not over. It is just like a post. My time is not ended now. how can this fellow come and be replaced in my place?
Retirement.
I have not been retired.
And will never retire.
Yes, then Lord Vishnu helped Indra, took a incarnation of Brahman the dwarf, and he went to Bali to have alms. Bali said, yes, I will give, because he had to sacrifice everything. So he was forced to give, and in that pretending way, the Lord Vishnu asked 3 foot measures of land, and by that Brahman became the universal form, and then he measured all the 3 worlds where the Bali was the king, and then with a 2 foot measures, and in the third he produced a leg from the navel and asked, where is the third measure? So Bali said, you have not measured my head, so this is for you. So he put his third leg on Bali's head and pushed him down to the Netherland, so that his 100th sacrifice was disturbed. He could not become the king of gods. There, all these merits are counted. Yes.
गुरु जी जैसे 2 जने एग्जाम्पल दिए, तो एक को तो गुरु जी ने संन्यास दिया और एक मन में पूरी संन्यास नहीं हुआ लेकिन पूरी श्रद्धा गुरु जी के लिए रखता है, तो
वो बोलने से श्रद्धा रखता नहीं होता है।
तो उसका मुक्ति
गुरु जानता है, गुरु knows what is the condition of the disciple. Disciple has not to prove it. I told you, when the disciple comes to the Guru and surrenders, then he has no complaint, nothing to say, just to obey. And then the turn of the Guru starts. He has to see in and out. He knows better than the disciple. Disciple doesn't know what he is.
मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि जैसे जिसका संन्यास नहीं हुआ लेकिन वो पूरी श्रद्धा रखता है,
श्रद्धा रखता है, वो बोलता है ना,
तो उसकी
वो बोलता है वो श्रद्धा नहीं है, वही तो मैं कर रहा हूँ। वो बोलता मैं श्रद्धा रखता हूँ, वो श्रद्धा नहीं है पूरा, वही तो गुरु जानता है, इसीलिए उसको टेस्ट करता रहता है। और डिसाइपल अपने सर्टिफिकेट अपने आप देना है क्या?
नहीं, वो नहीं, मतलब
श्रद्धा रखता है करके कैसे बोलेगा मैं श्रद्धा रखता हूँ?
मेरा प्रश्न था, अगर कोई श्रद्धा रखता है
अरे वही नहीं रखता है ना, श्रद्धा में बोल रहा हूँ बार बार, श्रद्धा नहीं रखता है और बोलता है श्रद्धा रखता हूँ, नहीं रखता है। वो बोलता है श्रद्धा रखता हूँ, वो क्या जानता है श्रद्धा क्या चीज है? वो कुछ समय रखा है श्रद्धा, वो बोलता मैं श्रद्धा रखता हूँ, वही तो मैं कर रहा हूँ, अपना सर्टिफिकेट अपने आप दोगे क्या? वो नहीं हो सकता है। He has to say nothing, no complaint, no question. Once one surrenders, he has no right to say anything afterwards. That is called surrender. That means you have not surrendered. The disciple has first the right to say anything and everything to Guru. Once he surrenders, then all the rights are withdrawn. He has no right to open his mouth. Gurudev said, I will give you sannyas. I have to take. No question. Many said, Gurudev, I am not fit to take sannyas. But Gurudev gave them sannyas forcibly. And many asked sannyas, they were forbidden by Gurudev. No. See, he knows your heart and mind. How can you say, I know, I have Shraddha, I have faith? How can you say? What do you know about your mind? If you know about yourself, then what need is there to come to Guru? You don't know anything. That you have to accept first. I have no knowledge of anything. Whether I have Shraddha or Vishwas, that also I don't know. Then only the disciple is fit. If he knows himself, then why did he come to the Guru? What need is there? No self-certificate, self-guarantee, no. The disciple has no right to open his mouth, nor to open his eyes, not to see anything. Whatever Guru does, whether it is right or wrong, you have no right to consider it. Just close your eyes. You had the right in the beginning, before surrendering. You have used your right till the end. Now your right is withdrawn. No right. This is how the Guru knows everything. So anyhow, this sannyas and all these, they are concerned with sacrifice, and all these gods and pitris, the ancestors, and they are also in the heaven those who are supporter of the creations, and they like people should come to the cycle of birth and death. Dhumo ratris tatha krishnaha sanmasa dakshināyanam tatra chandramasam yotir yogi prapya nivartate. Even the yogis, if they do tapas and practice yoga with desires, they have to come back to this earth plane and to the cycle of birth and death. This is the Pitriyana, Pitri, that's how Pitri has come, ancestors. Pitriyana, or the path of darkness, or the path of the ancestors, which leads to rebirth. All these gods are also once human beings or other beings. By slow development, they have acquired some merits, and as a result they have become the gods. Our district magistrate, how much he had to strive. So many had come for interviews, and many were rejected. Few among them were selected to be fit to rule over the district. So in that way, among many good doers, few were selected to enjoy in the heaven, others will enjoy in other ways their merits, and sinners will have to suffer. So these are all the natural laws. Nobody can go against it. So these are bound to come back because they have the desires yet to enjoy or to, of course nobody wants to suffer, but by the force of nature their habits, they do sinful acts and they have to suffer. They have to suffer. Those who do sacrifices to the gods and other charitable works with the expectation of reward go to the Chandralok through this path. Chandralok, we were thinking it is a luminous path, but Chandraloka, because it is the lowest of the light, that's how it is so soothing, and of course it is the house, abode of nectar. It is so soothing, and that is the just as minimum temperature is measured by minus Celsius degrees. That is also temperature, and highest in plus same temperature. It denotes the sun, and also it is concerned with moon also. Moon has bright half and dark half also. There is also moon present in dark half. Slowly it grows in the bright half, and so slowly it decays in the dark half. So that decrement is seen in dark half, dark fortnight. So that is not good. Growth is good. Growth means in the path of luminosity, there it grows, its light grows, colors, and in dark half it minimizes, it decreases, so that is not a good omen. So dark half is when the people depart in dark half of lunar fortnight. Then they go to Chandralok also. Chandralok is supposed to have enjoyments because it is the place of nectar, everything soothing, everything favorable to you. So, all these great social reformers and good doers, they do so many good deeds, and they, after death, they naturally, it is said, they will go to Chandraloka, and they enjoy for a pretty long time, and then they have to come back again to the mortal earth. So they go to Chandralokas through the path and smoke back path up. अरे मेरे को दिखता नहीं रे. So in these ways, if one departs from the body, the yogis with the desires, they go to Chandraloka through this path and come back to this world when the fruits of the karmas are exhausted. I was telling you the story of Pradyumna, who did sacrifices for thousands of years in Satya Yuga. And as a result, he went to Brahmaloka, the highest existence. He enjoyed there for pretty long time, and when his merits were over, he had to come back again to the earth plane to recollect, to revive his name and fame. When he could do it, again he went to Brahmaloka. So the stories give the scientific clues of the nature. Smoke, night time, the dark fortnight, and the 6 months of the southern solstice are all deities who preside over them. They may denote the degree of ignorance, attachment, and passion. There are smoke and dark colored objects throughout the course, throughout the path. There is no illumination when one passes along this path. It is reached by ignorance. Hence it is called the path of darkness or smoke. Dhumayana, path of smoke, means some confusion, some invisibility is there. Some darkness pervades everywhere. Some stories are there when the messengers from the death god come to people to take their life, and they go. The description is there in different epics. They go throughout in darkness only, and they have to suffer in the path also. It is just like a wanderer passing through dark night in the dense forest, full of dangers. Of course, in the end it will reach somewhere that is also full of miseries. In this way, one who departs in this time, smoke, night time, the dark fortnight, and the 6 months of the southern solstice are all the negative path. In this way, Shukla Krishne Gati Hete Jagatah Saswate Mate Ekaya Yatana Vritti Manmaya Vartate Punah. In this way, the bright and the dark paths of the world are verily thought to be eternal by the one, the bright path, a man goes not to return, and by the other, the dark path, he returns. Avartate punah. एक में, in one path there is no return, in the other path there is return assured. So, the question comes, can we change these paths according to our will, or we are helpless? This is a great question. When we know all this, we will not like to go in the dark path. We would always like to go in the bright path. So have we got that freedom to change it? Then comes the question of karma. What kind of thought you get at the departure time, that is also important. And what time you get, can you change that time? Because your death and birth is already, it is planned by the nature according to the karma and karma phala. Your action and reaction. So who is responsible now? Whether you are responsible or the nature? Both are equally responsible. But you know, the nature has a great rule. There is always fight between the two. The stronger will win over the weaker one. If your willpower, your practice, your strive, struggle is stronger than the natural laws, then you can overpower it. Many such stories are seen in the Puranas. Yes.
Are we separate from the nature?
You are not separated. You are not different from the nature. So if you know this, and then you cannot have the ego, then you are beyond nature. You don't know it, that's how you are in the clutches of the nature. And you pretend to be doer and you can go against the nature. Though you are in the clutches of nature, you try to go beyond it and you overrule the nature. Then you are punished. You cannot go against it because you are in the hands of nature. So when you know that I am in the hands of nature, so you have to admit that you are not the doer, then everything is done. If you are not the doer, let the nature do it. So you are not the doer. If everything is being done by the nature, so you are not the doer, be witness and enjoy as long as this body is there. Then you are not supposed to come back to the hands of nature. The ego is bind you. The nature binds you by this फांस को क्या कहता है? फांस है?
Clutches.
Clutch, yes.
Clutches of nature.
Yes. Yes.
So in the morning session when you were sharing on the Jiva story, you said that it is a long dream, a dream in a dream in a dream in a dream.
So what happens?
So,
He is the witness. He is not responsible for all this. So in the dream he got aware of it, that I am dreaming only. That is called knowledge. He was aware of it. He was witnessing. He was dreaming only for his amusement's sake. How do these ignorant fellows, worldly fellows act? Let me see. That was his dream. So in this way, though you are in the clutches of the nature, if you know it, you are free from the clutches. That is how you become the smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest, just as Hanuman did when he was bound by the demons by the order of Ravana. Put him, bind him, and put some cloths in his tail and put some fuel on his tail and set fire. Let the monkey die. And at that time he was bigger in size and he became smaller in size. So all those ties, net work was illusion, and he came out, and he was free to dance in the roofs of every house and set fire to whole Lanka. In that way, though you are bound, if you know it, you have the power to become smaller and get rid of these nets. Or you will become bigger than the nets. The net knots will be torn off. This is how you can go out from the clutches of the nature. If you have no ego, if you have no doership, if you know that you are not the doer, so let the nature do whatever he likes. What does it matter to me? Prakritehe kriyamanani gunehi karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudhatva. The foolish people who are captured by the ego, they think I am the doer. That's how they are bound. Yes.
so this is also the same logic we can apply for a draft war.
Yes. So this is how these paths are as eternal as the samsara. It is the tradition of the nature. World here means devotees or people developed to rituals. Pitriloka or Chandraloka is Swarga or heaven, where from there is return, sure return. Nobody can save you from this returning to the cycle of birth and death. So tomorrow we shall see the 27th sloka. Naite sriti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmad sarvesu kalesu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. He advises Arjuna, one who knows all this, he will not fall into the clutches, network of Prakriti, the nature. And so, Arjuna, be aware, be alert all the time. Think of me, the nature will not do anything. That means, if you can surrender to me, you have no doership, no ego, then nature will do its work. In no way you are concerned. You will be the witness only. You will enjoy the drama. Tomorrow we shall see it. Hari Om. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasisate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai.